The Ferrari 458 Italia is equipped with 20-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels and carbon ceramic disc brakes. Integrated into the nose are aeroelastic winglets designed to improve airflow by deforming in a precisely engineered manner. The air pressure itself controls their action. When the 458 Italia turns, so do its headlights. These bi-xenon units automatically follow the road ahead by monitoring steering angle and lateral Gs. The legendary automaker Ferrari was founded in 1929 as a racing team run by Enzo Ferrari. Its very first road-going sports car, the Soul-Stirring 125S, was introduced in 1947. The 4.5-litre V8 engine produces 562 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds and achieve a top speed of 202 miles per hour. With a flat underbody aerodynamic design, the 458 Italia achieves considerable downforce, nearly 800 pounds worth at top speed. Amazingly, it accomplishes this without relying on a large rear wing. No company designs track-ready interiors more elegantly than Ferrari. The 458 Italia incorporates many important driver functions into the Manettino-equipped F1-inspired steering wheel. The rear-wheel drive Ferrari 458 Italia features a 7-speed paddle shift transmission.
This is the very latest mid-engined V8 Ferrari, the 458 Italia. Pretty, isn't it? And that's not something you can say about many of their efforts from the last few years. The 430 had a front end like a leering idiot. The 348 looked like it had crashed into a Venetian blind showroom. But this looks just right. Its appearance isn't just for show either. Those black fins in the front grille flex under air pressure, so the faster you go, the more they bend out of the way to improve aerodynamics. And there are no engine intakes to spoil the sides because they've been moved underneath the car. So it looks fantastic, and its 4.5-litre, 562 horsepower V8 means it has the guts to punch you repeatedly in the back of the head. But that alone wouldn't be enough. Some of its ancestors have been as incompetent and terrifying as having brain surgery performed by a baboon. As it turns out, the 458 is better than that. Much better. In fact, it's a sharp-handling, smooth-riding, savagely fast masterpiece. Of course, it's not perfect. For some reason, they've put far too many buttons on the steering wheel. The dashboard screens are so complicated they can only be worked by Bill Gates, and personally, I'd still rather have the brutal Mercedes SLS. But I can't deny that the 458 is a great car and a proper Ferrari.
This is the 2005 Ford GT.
Everyone knows American cars are terrible, and cars from Europe, especially cars from Italy, are better. Better looking, better driving, and usually better sounding. 50 years ago, Henry Ford knew this. That's why he tried to buy Ferrari and thought he had, until Enzo Ferrari looked down his Roman nose and said, you know what? Actually, you can't have it. So, Henry decided to kick Ferrari where it hurt, on the racetrack. He wrote a blank check and told his engineers to build a better racing car and beat Ferrari at Le Mans. And astonishingly, that car, a British chassis with an American engine, the Ford GT40, did just that. 4 times. This car is not the GT40, but it looks like one, and it was made to celebrate Ferrari's humiliation, only this time on the road, not the track. It's the Ford GT, not the GT40, because unlike that car, it's more than 40 inches tall, so Americans could fit into it. But the idea is just the same. A great big V8, a 5.4 litre with a supercharger, and a relatively simple aluminium chassis. 220 miles an hour, and frankly astonishing handling for a car from America. And movie star looks. I have never driven a car that attracts more attention, and I drove this one a lot, because I bought one as remarkably, at the time, there wasn't a Ferrari that was better. And that's only something that happens once every 50 years.
The Ford GT is equipped with 19-inch cast aluminum alloy rear wheels and features cross-drilled and vented disc brakes. With its advanced aerodynamic design, the GT is Ford's first production car to hit 200 miles per hour. A fitting achievement, considering it was the GT40 race cars that broke the same speed record at Le Mans in 1966. Behind the GT's doors lurk large, distinctively styled vents, responsible for cooling the engine and transmission. Just above these vents, another pair of inlets feed air to the supercharged V8 engine. The 5.4-litre supercharged V8 engine produces 550 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds with a top speed of 205 miles per hour. The GT's cabin design harkens back to the hallowed GT40 race cars of the 60s. The dramatically perforated seats, analog instrumentation, and toggle switches are all distinct retro design elements. This is the 2010 Lexus LFA.
This is a Lexus. I know, doesn't look like one, does it? It doesn't sound like a Lexus from the details either. I mean, it has a 4.8-litre, 552 brake horsepower V10. It also has a carbon fibre body. And it does 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds and has a top speed of 200 miles an hour. This is what happens when you tell Lexus engineers to stop making quiet, dull saloons for people who play golf. Let off the leash, they go mad and make this, the LFA. A car that sounds like an F1 racer and goes like a Ferrari 458, as it should when you discover that it costs twice as much. But just to prove they haven't forgotten their insane attention to detail, the Lexus boffins have given it dashboard vents that gently waft from side to side to make sure the air is evenly distributed around the cabin. This is a Lexus in the same sense that I'm a 400-meter runner. In other words, it isn't a Lexus at all. What this is Toyota showing exactly what they're capable of. And it turns out that what they're capable of is quite a lot.
The 4.8-litre naturally aspirated V10 engine produces 552 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds and achieve a top speed of 202 miles per hour. The Lexus LFA is equipped with 20-inch forged aluminum wheels and carbon ceramic disc brakes. Lexus turned to Yamaha's musical instrument division for acoustic tuning. The resulting F1-inspired sound of the V10 is as finely crafted as the engine itself. In pursuit of optimal weight distribution, and despite higher engineering costs, Lexus placed the radiators at the rear of the car. This unique design allows for better handling without sacrificing cooling. The rear-wheel drive Lexus LFA features a 6-speed paddle-shift transmission. Lexus positioned the carbon fiber frame seats exceptionally close to the vehicle's center. This layout improves driving feel, allowing increased response and intuitive communication with the LFA's chassis. The rear-wheel drive Lexus LFA. The rear-wheel This is the 2011 Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG.
This is not just the greatest car Mercedes makes. Right now, I think it's the greatest car in the world. It's more powerful than a Ferrari 458, it's a little bit louder than a Lamborghini, and it's way more fun than the 911 RS GT Turbo 3S or whatever this week's Ultimate Beetle is called. This is the thinking men's supercar, the Mercedes SLS. The engine is AMG's own 6.2-litre V8 linked to a flappy paddle double-clutch gearbox that sits at the back for perfect weight distribution, so that it feels as though the entire car pivots around, well, around your bottom. It does a lot of pivoting, if truth be told, because while it can do huge distances in great comfort, what it is at heart is a shouty, snarly, tail-happy, gull-winged lunatic. And that is why I love it.
The 6.3-litre naturally aspirated V8 engine produces 571 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds and achieves a top speed of 197 miles per hour. The SLS AMG's fiery bloodline can be traced back to its legendary ancestor, the 1955 300SL. This is unmistakable in the upward-opening gull-wing doors and wide front grille. The SLS AMG is equipped with rear 20-inch 7-spoke light alloy wheels and composite ceramic disc brakes. Opened in 1967, AMG was the first tuning shop to focus on Mercedes-Benz muscle. It has since evolved to become the marque's official performance division. The SLS AMG, its crowning achievement. As the gull-wing nickname suggests, these lightweight doors swing upward a full 70 degrees. Thanks to carefully controlled pyrotechnics, their hinges can be blown off if the car rolls onto its roof, aiding exit. Inside the low-slung cabin, race-ready features hint at this supercar's true nature. A lap-timing stopwatch can be displayed front and center, helping drivers hone their skills. The rear-wheel drive SLS AMG features a 7-speed paddle shift transmission. This is the 2010 Aston Martin 177.
This is the Aston Martin 177. Compared to Vantage and Vanquish, it is a rubbish name, and frankly the car deserves better, because it is the most powerful and most expensive Aston Martin of all time. At the front is a 7.3-litre V12 making 700 horsepower, which would be remarkable on its own. But it's even more amazing when you discover that this car weighs less than Aston's own V8 Vantage. They ran the 177 prototype up to 220 miles an hour before the driver backed off. According to Aston, it could go even faster. Whether you'd want to is another matter. Firstly, because it costs £1.3 million, and it would be a shame to break it. And secondly, because, well, just look at it. The underneath of the 177 is made from huge, beautiful sheets of carbon fibre, copied from Aston Martin's Le Mans races. And on top is a hand-beaten aluminium skin made by the same 200-year-old men who've been making Aston Martins since 1913. If only it had a better name.
Aston Martin cars and James Bond films have gone hand in hand for decades. Starting with the famous DB5 in the 1964 film Goldfinger, these British sports cars are now practically synonymous with 007. The 7.3-litre V12 engine produces 750 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds and achieve a top speed of over 220 miles per hour. The Aston Martin 177 is equipped with 20-inch, split 7-spoke aluminum alloy wheels and carbon ceramic brakes. Despite the 177's radical appearance, it stays true to a long-standing design heritage. The shape of the front grille has been a signature feature of Aston Martin sports cars for decades. The rear-wheel drive Aston Martin 177 features a 6-speed paddle-shift transmission. Like a well-tailored suit, the interior of the 177 is fitted to its owner's unique needs. With only 77 examples being produced, each buyer has the option to attend a personal unveiling ceremony at the factory. This is the 2012 BMW M5.
A normal BMW 5 Series can be as interesting as travelling to Switzerland to buy some socks. But this isn't a normal 5 Series. This is the brand new BMW M5. Like previous versions of the M5, you wouldn't know it's anything out of the ordinary, unless you're an industrial-strength Class 1 ocean-going car bore. There are slightly swollen arches, fractionally bigger air intakes, and a set of subtle vents in the wings. But overall, it looks like the 520 that your dentist drives. And that's always been the genius of M5s, right back to the original of 1985. They may look quiet and unassuming, but they go like a stabbed badger. And this new one should be no exception. Gone is the rather drony V10 from the old M5, and in its place is a 4.4-litre twin-turbocharged V8 making over 550 horsepower. The pointlessly complicated and stupidly annoying gearbox of the old car has gone too, to be replaced by a 7-speed double-clutch flappy paddle system that should make changes as silky as Pierce Brosnan's underpants. So, it's as discreet as a Victorian butler, yet it's powerful enough to pop a kidney. It is, in short, another classic BMW M5.
The 4.4-litre twin-turbocharged V8 engine produces 548 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds and achieve a top speed of 190 miles per hour. The M5 features the same high-tech adaptive headlights available in the standard 5 Series. The advanced lights constantly monitor the vehicle and ensure that light is always pointed where the car is headed. The BMW M5 is equipped with 19-inch alloy wheels and floating cross-drilled disc brakes. The unique front bumper, rear diffuser and spoiler help keep the car stable at high speed. Coming from a country with famously fast autobahn motorways, the 190-mile-per-hour sedan needs advanced aerodynamics. As a classic identifying feature of every modern M car, 4 prominent exhaust tips adorn the M5's rear. These are fed by an exhaust system with electronic bypass valves that increase flow above 2,000 RPM. The M Division was created in 1972 to handle BMW's racing program. Many of its innovations have trickled down into the company's road-going vehicles, particularly in high-performance M models. The rear cabin is a high-tech environment. With 2 large headrest monitors, passengers can watch DVDs or TV, play games, surf the web, or even tap into the all-in-one iDrive vehicle interface. The rear-wheel drive BMW M5 features a 7-speed paddle shift transmission. The M-Drive Manager stores the vehicle dynamics preference of 2 users, allowing drivers to easily call up preferred settings for engine, transmission, suspension, steering, and stability control. This is the 2009 Bugatti Veyron 16.4.
Above 155 miles an hour, they stop trying to classify hurricanes. 155 miles an hour is a Category 5, the kind that killed 12,000 burly Texans in 1900. There is no Category 6, because if there was, there'd be nobody left to classify it once it had passed. The Bugatti Veyron will pass through the air at 252 miles an hour, so you have some idea of the forces of nature at work here, and the reasons why it needs to haul that vast aeroplane wing into the airstream to keep it stable. It's also why it needs 16 cylinders, 8 litres, 4 turbochargers, 10 radiators, and 1,000 horsepower. Everything about this car is Category 6. Except, that is, the skill level required to drive it. Your mother could. A flappy paddle gearbox developed by people who develop Formula One gearboxes, and a four-wheel drive system developed with some considerable amount of head-scratching by rocket scientists means you just get in and drive. And you won't drive anything faster. Anything. Like Concorde and the Saturn V, the Veyron is the furthest its particular engineering avenue will be explored. The men who engineered it are probably working now on hydrogen propulsion. There is no longer a place in the world for a car that will, with a twist of the special extra key required to dial in that hurricane-beating top speed, consume a set of 10,000-pound tyres in just 300 miles. And that makes me sad.
Big power makes big heat. Cooling the Veyron takes 10 times the number of radiators found in a standard compact car. Fitting, since the turbocharged W16 engine makes nearly 10 times the horsepower too. No one ever said breaking records was cheap. Bugatti recommends changing the Veyron's specially formulated tyres every 2,500 miles. 4 new tyres carry a price tag of $38,216. The Bugatti Veyron is equipped with 540mm forged alloy rear wheels and carbon ceramic disc brakes. At top speed, the 16-cylinder beating heart of the Veyron can suck its 26-gallon fuel tank dry in 12 minutes flat. That's enough time to cover 50 miles. Bugatti gives Veyron buyers a special key that unlocks the car's true potential. With a twist of the wrist, the Veyron optimizes its aerodynamics and ride height for the push to its top speed of 253 miles per hour. This is the 1982 DeLorean DMC-12. The DeLorean DMC-12 is equipped with 15-inch die-cast aluminum alloy rear wheels and four-wheel disc brakes. These rear louvers may scream classic 80s style, but they're functional too. In addition to venting engine heat, they improve aerodynamics, which in turn increases both top speed and fuel economy. The 2.8-litre V6 engine produces 130 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 miles per hour in 10.5 seconds and achieve a top speed of 120 miles per hour. Starting with its role as a time machine in the Back to the Future movies, the DMC-12 has enjoyed pop culture stardom. It's since made cameo appearances in The Simpsons and The Wedding Singer, among many others. DeLorean pulled out all the stops when it came to outfit the cabin of the DMC-12. Its state-of-the-art cassette deck is even capable of receiving AM and FM radio at the push of a button. This is the 1957 Ferrari 250 Testarossa.
If you wanted to win at Le Mans at the end of the 1950s, you needed to be driving one of these. The Ferrari 250 Testarossa wasn't just beautiful, it was frighteningly effective. It dominated the 24-hour race in 1958 and again in 1960. And then, just for good measure, when the opposition thought it could breathe again, it won again in 1961. Its close cousin, the 250 GTO, might be the most valuable car the world has ever seen, but the Testarossa was the one that took the silverware. For all its beauty, the GTO had to make do with class wins, where the Testarossa beat everything. Its name comes from the red paint the engine builders daubed all over its cylinder head, because, well, that's the only colour paint they have at Ferrari. Testarossa means red head. And sure enough, its 3-litre V12 engine, made by old men in oily workshops with lathes and drills and unfortunate industrial injuries, had a volcanic nature. There is sweat and blood and a bad attitude in every Ferrari 250 Testarossa.
The Ferrari 250 Testarossa is equipped with 16-inch wire wheels and finned alloy and magnesium competition drum brakes. The 3-litre V12 engine produces 300 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds and achieve a top speed of 168 miles per hour. Rather than ingesting air through a single intake like a conventional car, velocity stacks feed each cylinder individually, providing more power and creating an engine sound that's music to the ears. Just 22 250 Testarossas were made, making it the rarest and most sought-after Ferrari of all time. It once held the record for most expensive automobile ever sold, fetching more than $12 million at auction. To feed the thirsty V12 engine, a massive 37-gallon fuel tank was used. That's nearly 3.5 times larger than the gas tank on a typical Honda. When topped up, the big tank weighs a whopping 224 pounds. Inspired by Formula One cars of the era, the unorthodox-looking pontoon fenders were crafted by lead designer Sergio Scaglietti after Enzo Ferrari demanded better bodywork to aid in cooling the problematic front brakes. Forget the amenities. The 250 TR's interior was built for racing, with an easy-access battery mounted in the passenger footwell and a second needle on the tachometer to record the highest engine RPM reached. The rear-wheel drive Ferrari 250 Testarossa features a 4-speed manual transmission. Forget the amenities. The 250 TR's interior was built. This is the 2011 Ferrari 599 GTO.
This is only the third Ferrari in history to be called a GTO. The first, the 1962 250 GTO, remains the world's most valuable and quite possibly the world's most beautiful car. But its form came from its main function, as a racer. Likewise, GTO number 2, the 288 of the 1980s, was also made to go racing, only for the rules to change at the last minute, leaving it with nowhere to race. And now we have this, the third GTO, a slightly softened road-going version of the 599 FXX. It has 670 horsepower and a sense that it's constantly plotting new and exciting ways to physically harm you. But that's not the only reason why I don't much care for this car. The real reason I'm no fan is because the O in GTO means homologation. It means racing. And this 599 will never race, nor was it ever intended to. In essence, then, it's just a lightened, pumped-up version of the car a successful plastic surgeon would drive.
The 6-litre V12 engine produces 661 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.35 seconds and achieve a top speed of 208 miles per hour. At 661 horsepower, the 599 GTO features Ferrari's most potent street car engine to date. This powerhouse is largely responsible for it being the fastest road-going Ferrari ever made. The 599 GTO is equipped with 20-inch forged aluminum alloy wheels and carbon ceramic disc brakes. Extreme speeds often require high-tech solutions to keep a car right side up. The 599 GTO sports a meticulously designed rear diffuser that channels air for maximum downforce. The famous design firm Pininfarina has been styling Ferraris since 1952. Based on the extreme 599XX track car, the fully modern 599 GTO still fits well into this classic Ferrari design heritage. The first production Ferrari hit public roads in 1947, decades after founder Enzo Ferrari first gained experience competing as a racing driver. Continued success on both road and track has made the brand an automotive icon. The 599 GTO's wheel donuts are inspired by Formula One racing technology. Their unique design improves brake cooling and reduces drag by ensuring passing air hugs the car body. The rear-wheel drive Ferrari 599 GTO features a 6-speed paddle shift transmission. The 599 GTO sports a virtual race engineer that displays real-time performance data. It may be street legal, but this car is clearly built for the track. This is the 2009 Ferrari California.
You might think Ferraris should be mid-engined, and this one isn't. You might think Ferraris should have V12s, and this one doesn't. It's called the California, and you have to ask, what's the point of it? Certainly, it's not very pretty, and it has literally the worst built-in telephone of any car in the world. Unless, of course, you've always wanted to spend your life accidentally phoning everyone you know whose name starts with A. But on the plus side, it's got a folding metal roof, it's reasonably nice to drive, and it means Ferrari can take money from people who might previously have bought a Mercedes SL, which means they can afford to develop proper, wonderful supercars like the 458. So, you see, the California does have a point after all.
The 4.3-litre V8 engine produces 453 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds and achieve a top speed of 193 miles per hour. The The Ferrari California is equipped with 19-inch forged aluminum alloy wheels and carbon ceramic disc brakes. Ferrari's use of the prancing horse emblem dates back to a 1923 racing success. Once belonging to a famous World War I flying ace, the symbol was honorably offered to Enzo Ferrari by the pilot's mother. Because it's the closest that Ferrari has ever come to building a mass appeal day-to-day car, safety is key in the California. It features a hidden roll bar that deploys within just 190 milliseconds of a rollover. The rear-wheel drive Ferrari California features a 7-speed paddle shift transmission. This is the 2002 Ferrari Enzo.
In Italy, you don't take the name of the father in vain. So when Ferrari decided to call this car the Enzo, you knew they had something special in mind. Something that would take supercars onto another level of speed, of handling, of fury. Such fury that after 3 full-bore standing starts, you have to send the car back to Italy for a new clutch. The Ferrari Enzo marked the point at which supercars became like modern fighter jets, demanding complicated electronics to keep them under control. It's computers that keep its 6-litre, 660 brake horsepower V12 and flappy paddle gear shift on speaking terms. And its F1 style adjustable suspension on an even footing. The result is a car that's faster around Ferrari's test track than all but their most recent Formula One cars. The Enzo's V12 went on to even greater things in the insane FXX and the psychotic 599 GTO, both cars that need even more men with laptops to keep them under control. But for Ferrari, the Enzo was Genesis. They only made 399 of them, and then the factory built a 400th for a very particular customer, the Pope. That's how special you have to be to have one.
The Enzo's body is designed to maximize downforce. A channel under the nose cone diverts air to the rear diffuser, a trick Ferrari learned from their prodigious racing experience. The Ferrari Enzo is equipped with 19-inch single-bolt aluminum alloy wheels and carbon ceramic disc brakes. Can a car be an endangered species? If so, the Ferrari Enzo fits that bill, with only 399 ever made. Of these, over a dozen have already been wrecked by their owners. Ferrari turned to renowned design firm Pininfarina to style the Enzo. Pulling cues directly from Ferrari's F1 racers, Pininfarina delivered the most dramatic and functional supercar design the world has ever seen. One obvious key to winning races is to avoid overheating. Inlets in the Enzo's nose cone feed cold air to the engine's radiators, while side intakes cool transmission and engine oil temperatures. Can a car be fitting for one of the world's most focused supercars, the Enzo's cabin is made for hard days at the track, not cushy comfort. The F1-style steering wheel and carbon fiber racing seats are anything but luxurious. This is the 1931 Bentley 8-litre.
The 1930 Bentley 8-litre could have become one of the world's greatest cars, like the gargantuan Bugatti Royale. But it was launched in London in 1930 with a price of £1,850. Back then, that was a lot. Especially since at almost exactly the same time, the Great Depression arrived in Europe. As a result, only 100 8-litres were ever made, and the car's failure brought Bentley to its knees. Within a year, it was sold to Rolls-Royce. Of those 100, only 78 are left, and every one is unique. This was a time when companies like Bentley sold you the bottom half of the car, the chassis, engine and wheels, and then left you to find a coach builder for the body and the seats and the roof. So this car shares its huge 220 horsepower, 6-cylinder engine and 21-inch wheels with all the other 8-litres, but the rest, that was always a one-off. On this one, for example, the roof opens down the middle, so when it rains, those on the left could opt to get wet, while those on the right could stay dry. Strangely, it was an idea that didn't catch on, just like the rest of the Bentley 8-litres.
Cooling the colossal inline-six engine is no mean feat. Hidden behind the classic Bentley grille lays a radiator twice the size of one found in the average modern car. The Bentley 8-litre is equipped with 21-inch aluminum-covered wire wheels and drum brakes. In the 1930s, it cost just $5 to fill this Bentley's 25-gallon fuel tank. But with the car costing more than the average house at the time, it was far from affordable. While elegant, this rear hinge design isn't without its faults. A dangerous tendency for an improperly closed door to fly open while the car was moving led to the nickname suicide doors. Of the 108 litres ever made, each is completely unique, making the car highly sought after by collectors. This particular model is based on one in Jay Leno's collection. Simplicity isn't this car's strong suit. With a variety of throttle, ignition and mixture controls to master, the 8-litre takes considerably more effort to drive than modern cars. the rear-wheel drive Bentley 8-litre features a 4-speed manual transmission.